Hi, and welcome to Courageous Conversations. My name is Tasha, and tonight we are joined by Quentin McDougald. Quentin is a dedicated educator for the past 17 years in New Britain. He's also been making waves in the business world since 2011. Alongside his role as a science and computer science teacher at Slade Middle School, Quentin is the visionary owner and CEO of Nothing But Web LLC. His multifaceted expertise has fostered the growth of countless entrepreneurs, propelling their businesses to six-figure heights and overseeing the creation of more than 100 impactful websites. With a rich history of experience, Quentin continues to leave an indelible mark on both education and the entrepreneurial sphere. And I would also like to add that Quentin was my daughter's eighth grade
Hey,
teacher, and I also worked in the district, so that's how we got to know each other. And he was one of her favorite teachers. She always came home like, I don't like school that much, but I love Mr. McDougald. I love his class. Like, and most of the kids that came out of Slade left there saying how you were one of their favorite teachers and how you made it so fun and exciting for them to be there. So I just wanted to add that
I
little piece. And
appreciate
if you have
that.
anything that you'd like to add, you
Well,
can
I
go ahead and
appreciate
do
that.
that.
You made me sound all important and stuff. Fun fact, I was just looking at her yearbook, her eighth grade yearbook. So I was with another teacher. We
Wow.
found the yearbook under some pile of papers. And I'm looking through. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm looking at. I'm like, oh, look, it's Deja. I'm like, wow. It's funny how things work out. I'm like, I'm literally coming onto your show
Absolutely.
tonight, and then it's like I just saw her yearbook picture from back then. So thank you. I appreciate this. Like I told you before, off mic, like this is my first, actually podcast interview type of thing. So, we're gonna make it work.
Absolutely. And I'm so excited to have you here. And our topic tonight is success.
Okay.
All right. So my first question is, what does success mean to you?
I think success comes in a different variety of different ways. Most people, by definition, success is proving yourself and your willingness and dedication to do certain things. I measure personally success by the joy that I'm able to bring and impact that I'm able to show in other people's lives. As you said in the bio, working with different business owners or even working with different students, a lot of people just do it to do it, but I do it to see the impact. And as an entrepreneur, as a teacher, you do it to plant the seeds so that they eventually grow. And like you said with your daughter, later on down the line, who knows what she become. But I know if I could play a pivotal part in that moment of her life and she remembers it, that's the seeds that shows me success going forward.
Absolutely. Okay. So on a personal level, for you, what would be your definition of success for you as a man, as a dad, as a educator? I mean, the full spectrum, not just in other people, but when you think of success for yourself, how would you define that?
Um, I think by definition is simple. I mean, being a husband, being a father too. My success is just knowing that my kids will be fine, know my wife will be fine. Just knowing that I put all the extra hours of work in just so they can live the life that they like, and myself too. A lot of people or myself, I'm always work, 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 go, go, go. So you never really sit back and look at the journey that you've taken. But again, my suggestion would be just to see my kids be able to grow and foster, have a long term relationship with my wife, just knowing that the
Yes,
family's okay.
I love that. So I'm going to share with you guys my definition of success. And this definition is new to me because success used to mean something different for me. It meant my job, it meant motherhood, it meant, I mean, it's changed as I've grown and changed. But right now, success for me is being able to show up in my fullest expression
Hmm.
in every room that I enter. And this is new. And it's so important to me because for so long, I was someone who did what I was supposed to do, kind of followed the normal path and the traditional path of what our families thought success was. And I woke up one day and was like, what does success mean to me? Like for real, not the house, not the car, not the marriage, but if my life was coming to an end and I'm looking back, does do those things, if I'm laying on my deathbed, are those things the things that I'm going to say, wow, I lived a successful life? And my answer was no.
That's true.
So I realized that because I was always doing what I thought I was supposed to do, I had never given myself an opportunity to do what I want to do and to define success differently. So now success is literally in all of my growing and all of the transitions I've been through in the past 6 years. Do I show up everywhere, in every room, in every space as me? I'm happy, I'm goofy, I don't like a lot of structure.
Me either.
I was always the
Yeah.
person like, no, you will
No.
not box me in. I will not
Exactly.
be in
Yes.
this box. But then I
Yeah.
found myself in a whole lot of boxes. I'm like,
Yeah. That happens
I
a
don't
lot.
want the boxes anymore.
No. Like if you can box
So
someone, I think that makes them very plain. And I think everyone wants to be out of the box, but a lot of people they find comfort in being in the box secretly. So I applaud you with that as well. Just being able to recognize that, hey, I've been going through life as this, and now it's time to make a change. So perfect.
yeah.
I love it.
And to redefine success and be confident and comfortable enough to speak that everywhere I go, because I get a lot of questions like, well, why would you do that? What are you doing? Like, and now I'm at the place where part of this expression thing is being able to answer that with full confidence and knowing that I can redefine success as anything I want it to be.
That's the beauty in it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. So my next question is, oh, I'm going to ask a different one.
All right, go for it.
Piggybacking off of what I just said, I didn't even realize that this was my next question.
Okay.
Would you say that your definition of success has changed? So I just explained how my definition of success has changed and why. But think about when you were maybe 16, 17, thinking about college, the next step. Do you think that your definition of success from that age to where you are now and all your life experience, do you think that, it's changed at all?
Absolutely. I think just growing up, our as our people, we usually place a monetary value on success. So growing up, it's like, hey, I want that car. Hey, I want this house. Hey, I want to make X amount of money. But my metamorphosis is becoming, just in life is I just want to just be happy. I want to wake up and say, hey, I want to do this today. I want to be unapologetic at everything I do. I want to know that every single decision I make is because I want to do it. I have a birthday coming up. Talking to my wife, she's like, "Yeah, I want to throw a party." I'm like, "Listen, what I want to do, I want to be alone. Like we can all go, just the people in my inner circle. I don't want anybody around. I want to put my feet in some water, and
Yes.
that is the marker right there. That
Yeah.
shows me that I did it. That's success to me. Just being able to life experiences. Just do different things on my time when I want to and just being able to say that, and just learning the power of no. That's also been a
Mm.
big impact. But yeah, just waking up every day, just knowing that hey, I am who I am, and going to bed at night and saying, hey, I did everything I can my way, and then now that makes me happy. That makes me show or makes me feel successful at the end of the day every day, like a self
And I
assessment.
love that. I love that because I understand why, as brown people, money was a big part of, our definition of success. And that's because our parents and our grandparents wanted to make sure that we would survive and that we could survive comfortably. So I always honor and respect how hard my parents worked to make sure that we lived a good life. And I understand why they instilled success and money in the same realm. I understand that. But it's so funny to me how now I'm like, okay, the money is, and I don't want to call it a guarantee, but like we can go make money. We
Yeah,
we can learn how to go make money. We are now in a society where making money has nothing to do with the color of our skin anymore. There's so many opportunities for us to develop wealth and grow our
Yeah,
portfolios and to make money, right? That we didn't have 50 years ago.
absolutely.
So now that that's the baseline is we can all go out and make money. I think that's how success starts to look a little different now. Because when I'm talking to my parents, I'm like, that's not it for me anymore. I
Mm,
get why it was that for you, but now I'm like, I'm trying to raise healthy children. I'm trying to raise children who know how to speak up for themselves. I'm trying to raise children who are confident in the people that they are so that when they go out into the world, they understand their power. So it's like now things have shifted so that we have more opportunities to give our kids something different than success equals money.
yeah, 100%. I think that just as time has gone on, we've now, with the access to the internet and everything like that, if you're using it for good, we have different blueprints now. The traditional safe blueprint that our people has put on ourselves is we have to do it this, we have to do our years, we have to do this, lay under the radar, we have to appease certain people. And now it's just kind of like, all right, we've broken the mold now. It's like we have access to information, and I think information is the key. Truth be told, like I didn't get the success just on my journey until I realized, hey, it's not about money. It's about, hey, I've worked a business, like I said, in 2011, just different parts of the journey. It's like, I'm a referral based business. I don't advertise, I don't do anything. It's like, just do good business with people, do good work with people, whether it's in education, whether it's in business, and then it'll come back to you. And I think once I actually took the monetary value off things, it just became,
Yes.
it worked. And like you said, it's like we don't have a script anymore. It's kind of like, hey, I want to wake up and do this. Hey, I want to do this. I want to try this. And I think we are not afraid anymore to jump off the ledge and try things. Because at the end of the day, there is a safety net component to it. But it's like, hey, if it doesn't work today, guess what? I'm gonna try something different. And it's pivoting. I think that plays a big role in it as well.
I love that. And I love when people have the courage to step outside and say that. Like, I understand that I do have a safety net. You can always go back to what you did before. You go out and try something new. Go out and do something that makes your heart smile and
Yeah.
makes you light up from the inside. Because for me, my children watching me be in that space with myself gives them permission to live like that too. And that's really big for me as a parent. Like, I understand how much we give our kids permission to be free and to be themselves and to try new things. And that leads into a lot of people who are successful have had to fail.
Yeah. A lot of people won't
Success
speak to
is
that.
failure. They're two sides of the
Yeah.
same
Yeah. A lot of people.
coin.
That's why I like to make things, public as far as, just what I do, because a lot of times people would never show you how many times they fail. I mean, I have this business here. This is like business number 25. There's 24 other failures. You know, you could probably say the same thing. I could probably show you 25 business cards of things that didn't work. But it's just
Yeah.
consistency, and it's like, oh, okay, this works, and try a little bit about. I'm a self-taught person, just trying to navigate this. Just even us talking like success, like what we value, what we see as success. Like you and I behind the scenes, we're working out camera things. It's like, hey, try this, try that. Like, hey, I tried this before.
Yeah.
We're not, professional,
Absolutely not.
podcasters, video editors, but hey, just try. I think if
I
anybody
laugh
takes anything away from
every
this,
day.
yeah, it's like, wow, I'm really
Every
doing this.
day. I'm like, of all the people on this planet, I am the last person who I would ever think would be this deep into technology and editing and
Yeah.
even being on camera. Like, I know I talk a lot. I've always talked a lot,
Hmm.
but that's what my circle, that's what my people, that's at my job.
Yeah.
But as far as me, like putting my true self, my whole self out there and just being open to all of these things, like I literally laugh. I'm like, who would have thought?
Oh, see, that's the craziest thing. Like, especially, with you put your show out there and everything. I'm pretty sure you bump into people who are like, hey, like now it's transformed to, hey, I think I know you from somewhere. My direct answer all the time, people laugh, is from the internet. It's like something. You probably see me on the internet doing something. Because it's true. It's like, we're not afraid to just put it out there. Whether it works, it doesn't. we can always hit the edit button. We can always go back and fix it. We can try it again. And I think that leads to the path of success. So I think we're both on this journey together, figuring it out.
I agree. And I
Definitely.
truly encourage anyone who is afraid, and it doesn't have to be a quit your job and start something new. It could just be a dabble. Like, I've always wanted to do this, and I don't know, like, should I do it? Like, just go do it.
Yeah.
Even if it fails, you're going to learn so much about yourself that is going to be so valuable. And every time you put yourself out there, you're just strengthening your muscle. That's what I call it. Like Quentin said, this is business number 25. People may not know it. And what I started with has evolved into something totally different. And that's how I
Yeah.
look at it. It's all one business, but it has had many evolutions and probably going to have quite a few more evolutions, and being very comfortable with being like, oh, I thought that was the path it was going to be, and being
Yeah,
okay
definitely.
with
Yeah.
shifting and pivoting and seeing what it evolves into. Because bottom line, you're going to grow as a human, as a parent, as a woman, a man, whatever. It's beautiful. So I really truly encourage you, if you're on the fence, like, I know I want to do this, my heart is calling me to do it, go do it.
Let's do
Go
it.
do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, that's it. You just try it. Because at the end of the day, I go by a certain quote. So when I was trying to figure out this network thing, trying to figure it out, and even doing this now, it's kind of like a lot of people, and I think are in our boats because I mean we're still learning. So it's like I always think to myself is at the end of the day when everything is over, did anybody
Mm,
care? Anybody care? So just go and do
yeah.
it. No one's gonna be there. There's no
Mhm.
one to ridicule you. It's like, hey, the only thing they can say is, hey, they did try it. So if we can give them the courage in this episode to go out and try things, I think that's definite value that we can add to everybody's lives.
Yeah. And that's why I call this courageous conversations. No matter what topic, we're discussing, it always comes down to being courageous enough to, one, be you, say what it is that you want in this life. And part of that is through your voice, right? And asking for what you want, being courageous enough to have conversations that lead you down a path to your heart's truest desires.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right.
I like that.
So my next question, go ahead.
No, I like that question. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Um, Give me an example, because I love examples. I like to give concrete examples of, you're working on something and you're like, this is it. I succeeded. Like, you knew you were successful. Like, no questions, no, like, was that the right thing? No, you're like,
Oh.
no, I did that. Like,
Oh. Oh man. All right. Perfect example. Out of the blue, was it this year? Wow, this has been a year. This has been a year. So when I got the phone call that was recognized by the city of New Britain as one of the 9 most influential African Americans,
mm,
and for to go to that ceremony and just take it all in, and just to know that hey, it was mainly it was the first time I think in my New Britain career that both worlds collided because
wow.
just working as an educator, working on a business, these two worlds never really have to interact at all.
Hmm.
It's like a double agent. It's like, I live over here from this time to this time, and from this time to this time in the weekends, I'm putting all the work. Um, but to see and then read the actual stuff and when I submitted it and then having a plaque in City Hall, like that was like,
Wow.
wow, because I'm like I said, I've been in the district. This is my 17th year, and a lot of
Hmm.
the coworkers, which I appreciate. They're like, yeah, you do a great job. You should be a teacher and teacher of the
Right.
year. I've never won teacher of the year in New Britain as long as I've been there.
Wow.
But when I got this award by the city, like forget everything else. It's like it's over. It's over. You can't
You're
tell me
like, this is the
anything.
whole of me
The whole
represented. This is
it's
the
9 of us.
whole
It's
of me.
9.
Yeah.
It's 9.
Yeah.
So that was the moment. And then another example I'll give is working with the former state treasurer. I think he's the former state treasurer. Um, oh yeah, Sean Wooden. So Sean Wooden had a gala back in. This has been a year. Wow. He had a gala, the same in February. Gala, his retirement gala. Um, and just kind of behind the scenes putting this, working with the team. It's kind of like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be okay. I'm seeing the different names come in. And then at that ceremony, which was at the Yargo Stadium, which I didn't know he had such a big connection to bringing the Yargos to the city. It's like, okay,
Right.
kind of putting the pieces, listening to different people. But at that particular gala, I met Robert Smith, the richest African American man in history. Had a quick conversation
Wow.
with him at there. Hakeem Jeffries, I met Hakeem Jeffries. It's kind of like just sitting in that room and just being a sponsor and working on a project, doing a website and other things behind the scene.
Mm.
Just sitting at the table and looking at everybody's table, and they all have my logo there. And it's like, this is
Wow.
insane. Insane. The amount of people in here, again, there's people just talking, hey, I gave, you know, 10 million, $15 million. And this guy gets up, yeah, I wouldn't get my first billion. It's like, I'm in this room with these people.
In that room.
Like, how did I get to this room? That was like, so those
Mm.
are two moments that happened this year. And I think, again,
Wow.
going back to our original conversation, is just kind of like when you just remove the monetary value and just say, how I'm just going to do this. I'm going to live in the moment. I'm going to do these things.
Yes.
It happens. Like I said, it's crazy because that was literally this year. I'm thinking like maybe 2 years
Wow.
ago. It's like,
So you had a great year, is what you're
yeah,
trying
like
to
this.
tell me.
I kicked off the year like that. I'm like, wow, what's the
All
rest of the
right.
stuff? Even just sitting down with you like just tonight, it's like kind of like, wow. I open up a folder in my computer, and it says great moments of 2023. And I think that I encourage everybody just to document your journey as you go through,
Yes.
because you forget. I put any picture or something that happened there, like even this, I'm gonna take a screenshot of this. Let's put it in a folder, because at the end of the year, you always look back, or 10 years from now, 5 years from now, you're like, hey, what did I do in that year? So
I
these,
did this.
yeah, it's like, okay, everything that's trying to put in the folder. Because I think one thing I definitely want to work on this year is just reflecting on things, because you get busy, you keep going, and it's just
Yeah.
like, you never look back, and I think that's, as our people, we're just trained to go, 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 not reflect or anything like that. But it
Yeah.
takes some, it takes when we have conversations with each other and just kind of like, wow, okay, yeah, wow, I did do that. And even yourself is kind of like, just knowing where you've come from and what you're building is kind of like, wow, okay, all right, it's a different life. So, but that's a
Yeah.
long-winded conversation of examples. But those are two
No,
examples.
but listen, that's beautiful. And what you're doing with this reflecting, right, is taking a moment to be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's something that we do often. Like, I know you're humble.
Hmm.
Just know that it's not hard to tell that you're a
Yeah.
humble person. You're not out here driven by your ego, bragging. But how often do we really just congratulate ourselves? Are we proud of ourselves? And that's become part
Never.
of my new practice. Like, even
Okay.
for the smallest things, I got and this came from my 9-year-old. He thought it was such a big deal when I got 10 subscribers on my YouTube channel.
Oh, wow.
He was
Okay.
so blown away. And in my
Yeah.
mind, I'm like, it's
It's
10
10
people,
subscribers. Yeah. Yeah.
because he started a YouTube channel himself. So
Yeah.
for him, 10 was this astronomical number. And he was like, Mom, when you hit 10, I think I was at 9. He was like,
Yeah.
when you hit 10, can we celebrate? And I was like, in my mind at first, I was like, celebrate for 10
Right.
subscribers. And then when I thought about it, I was like, absolutely. Because a week ago, I had 0. Like, why
Yeah.
would I not celebrate that small win? Celebrate the small win, celebrate the big win, because do you know what it took to get me to those 10 people? Do you know the work that it took to even be confident enough to put myself in front of the computer screen and do this? So congratulating ourselves, being proud of ourselves,
Yeah.
understanding how you got in that room. You got in that room because you deserve to be in that room, because you've been putting in the work, and because of the person that you are, and your heart and your humbleness and all of that good stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
And like you said, it all we do have to stop that, stop and just, yeah, okay, I did that. And even if it's a day, you just kind of just sit there. It's like, wow, okay, all right, and it's okay to keep going, but we have to make that check mark with each other,
Yeah,
and this whole, and just I think just celebrate each other. I think that's also a positive thing.
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
All
All
right.
right. Well, I have another question. What do you think success would look like for you in 5 years? So in 5 years'
Yeah.
time,
Ooh, 5 years time.
Yep.
Oh, see, I think this goes back to pacing yourself and kind of figuring out 5 years time.
You can do a year. You don't have to do 5. Just in the future with where you're going.
um,
What would, yeah.
well, I like to. So I started this network back, kind of brainchild. In this network, I want to have at least 10, maybe 10 functional shows. So I've been in the background, because it's a network, but it's also, I want to do a network. So I have other creators. I want to have some shows, and then people come check out the shows in there. I want to continue designing because I like designing. I'm a creative person
Mhm.
doing different things like that. Um, yeah, I don't. I think I want to be able to do it. Now, I don't want to say necessarily full time because I think that I put way more hours in than some more than actual working and being an educator. Um, I think success would be just waking up and saying, you know what, I want to do this today, and that's it. That's it. Today I want to design. Today I want to teach. Today I want to do this. I think that's in 5 years if I can get there and figure out like, hey, I want to get up and do this today, and I want to be able to have the means to do it, not monetarily, just the
Yes.
ecosystem built just to be able to get up and just do it, and to kind of put certain things on autopilot. So I don't know. I got to think about that one more a little bit. Just kind of
All
figuring
right.
out. It's just
And that
5 years
that
seems
makes
so
sense.
far. 5 years
It
seems
does.
so far, but then the past almost 12 behind me seems like ages ago. But I got to think about that more. Let me think about that. I got to think about that.
All
Yeah.
right.
I didn't expect that question.
All
Okay.
right.
All
And
right.
I asked you the question and I don't even have the answer, to be
Yes.
honest with you. I know what direction I want to move in. I know what makes me smile. I know what lights me up. But in 5 years' time, that could be anything. I could
Yeah.
be anywhere.
Yeah. That's true.
So I wouldn't even want to confine myself in a box because you know what? I have no idea. And that is the
Okay.
most exciting thing
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
That used to scare me. Like, oh my God, you don't know where you're going to be in 5 years. You know, and now I'm like, that sounds like the most exciting thing
Yeah. It's like, wow.
ever.
Okay. Yeah, because it's like just if I go with just for wine, like I know prior to COVID, I had this big plan. I was going to open the MBW Center, nothing but web, and then I was going to take all the clients. I was going to get a building because I know one of the biggest problems my clients always has is space. So I figure, hey, if I can do this co-working space before it became a big thing, co-working space for my clients, and then have them kind of. Well, I don't want to give it all away, but yeah, have co-working space. Yeah, I'm so might probably do it, but it's like everybody going to the event space, but it's kind of like let me create a hub and literally when you walk through that door because there's a building I really love. It's still vacant, still it could still happen. One day I'm gonna make this happen,
Absolutely.
but it's just like one of those things where it's like literally, hey, got somebody there, welcome to the nothing but web center, what do you need? And it's like, hey, I
Mm,
need this. Okay, who go see this room? Okay, I need this,
got
go see this room. And
it. Hmm.
I pride ourselves in the client, whether it be a client that's a daycare, whether it's a graphic designer, whether it's just different things. It's kind of like just put everybody there. And I think the network is the basis of it. I think that's now that I think about it, I think that's where that idea and concept kind of came with. But
Yeah.
then COVID, yeah, but prior to COVID, that was the thing. So in 5 years, maybe I had that center up, maybe the
Maybe
center,
that up.
and it's kind of just like, hey, what do you need? Come to the center, I could be one of
Mm.
those annoying commercials like on the radio. What's it? April $500 something. My kids always repeat that stupid commercial. They're like, oh, it's another month.
Right.
It's another whatever. You know the commercial I'm talking about. This one that's every single
I
month. It's
do.
like, like hey, come to the
That's
MBW
funny.
Center. Yeah, you just put this promo code
Right.
in. So I think that maybe
I
who
love
knows.
it.
Like I said, who knows? 5 years, who knows? I want to be
Yeah.
alive. Let's start there.
Absolutely.
Let me be alive.
Absolutely.
I can get
And that's just
five.
vision. You don't need a plan
Yeah,
step
yeah,
by step to have a vision,
yeah,
right? But vision is what drives you, and vision is what leads you down the right paths and in the right, rooms and spaces and
yeah,
all of that. So I would say have a vision, even if you don't have a definitive plan, always have a vision for your future. And you saying the hub reminds me of something that I crave, and that is community. And I
Yeah,
know that I'm building community by being in your network and by, doing some of the things that I do. But in 5 years, I want to have a strong community. I want to
yeah,
have, it's just like your hub, it's the same idea, but I want that community not to just be work related. I want it to be life related. I want a
yeah.
community for
I
my
like that.
children. I want a community, if I get married one day, I want a community of married couples. I want
Yeah,
community of like-minded, like-hearted, visionary people.
yeah. It's like you
So,
came for this, but then now you're here for this. And oh, let me go down the hall. Let me see this. Oh, this is going on over here. All right, okay. It's like
yes.
that type of thing. So yeah, yeah. I think we're on the same track. I like this. Even with community, it's like my thing is like it's built up to run itself. It's like who knows who you might bump into in there, and it's. So yeah, 5 years. I'm gonna start. Yeah, I can't even plan that. I don't know. I don't. I'm trying to think. Let me. I'm like,
Hey,
I'm gonna go and plan it. I don't know. I don't know. I have a kids program
so,
I'm trying to launch too. So who knows? Maybe the kids program is what takes off. I don't know.
yeah.
In
And
time,
have
time,
you do you notice that when you think you have this perfect plan that it shifts anyway?
all the time, all the time, all the time, every single time. Like I literally like behind me on a whiteboard, big giant whiteboard, is the kids program. It's been sitting there for 2 years now. two
Wow.
years planned out everything, different
Mm.
chapters, and it's like all right. I just got to put the board here, and that was a plan, and hey, here we are today. So who knows? Who knows? So, but
All right.
always vision, always vision.
Any advice for someone who maybe is doubtful that they're successful? Maybe they're not as secure. Um, Maybe it's tied to finances, and because they can't get over that financial hump, that they're doubting themselves and maybe beating themselves up because something has failed or it's just not working out the way that they planned, and they're internalizing it as though it's a worth issue. Or any advice for someone who is really has a vision, has good work ethic, but just can't get over the hump?
A couple of different things. So one thing I would say is to a lot of people had the misconception that everybody is in competition with each other. I would say
Mm.
whatever you think you might want to do, reach out to the person because more than likely they have always sitting there waiting to have a conversation and they're willing to help you. Like I've learned this along the way, just kind of figuring out because so many stereotypes and it's like okay, it's dog eat dog and sometimes if it's someone that you want to do and you're admire, just you can admire from just reach out to them, say hey, I really like what you're doing, I'm interested in it. Are you willing to have a quick conversation? And who knows what kind of door that opens up for you to do that. So I would just anything you want to do, whether like you said, it's finance, whether it's business, or anything you want to try, find someone that you're comfortable with, or just reach out to, and understand that you might have to knock on a couple doors, but one door will open, and that'll lead you to more opportunities. So that will be one piece of advice. And I'm a big book guy, so I gotta I'm a big book person. So in my mind, there's always a book for something. Some people are like, hey,
Yeah.
you. So I would suggest if it's financial, read the book The Richest Man in Babylon. The Richest Man in
Mm.
Babylon, that will get you where you need to be financially. And it'll show you that, whether you have $1 million or $10, like you'll figure out your way to create your path for for what you see and what your vision is financially. But those are two tips I would say just to do that.
I love that. And I absolutely agree with both of those. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Even when it feels like you're failing, remember that failure and success are the same thing. It's just different degrees of the same thing. So failure is building that muscle. And one day it's going to all come together and you're going to be like, you're going to be mind blown. So just
Yeah.
keep working. Don't quit. And that's it. That's all I got.
1,000%. A
Well,
thousand
tell
percent.
us. Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, just 1,000%. Because if anybody would have asked me years ago, I still don't understand how I became a teacher. Like that was just a whole other thing. I hated school. I tell all my students, like, listen, if you hate school,
Me
guess what? Me
too.
too. Me too. I don't
Too.
know how I got here, but I'm here, and I show up every day, and they say keep coming back. So I think I'm doing all right. And
Keep
I just
coming back.
related to, yeah, just with just with students, it's kind of like, listen, you're gonna fail. You're supposed to fail. Like if you got everything right, then there's no journey to that. So um,
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's just like you said, try things. Say try it. That's all I got here. It's trial and error. Yeah,
Yeah. That's it. All
got you.
right. Well, tell us where we can find you.
Uh, you can find me on the internet. No, I'm just joking.
On the internet.
On the internet. So you can go to my website, www.nothingbutwebllc.com. That's my website. From there, you can see about the different services I offer, whether it's business consulting, web design, social media management, and it also the hub to the Nothing But Web Entrepreneur Network. You can find me on social media, Instagram at Nothing But Web LLC, I believe. You can find me on Facebook under my name, under Nothing But Web. I think just Nothing But Web on Facebook. So across all platforms, if you start typing in Nothing But Web, I'll usually pop up. Yeah, so that's where you can find me. And also on here, I would love to do another episode. This is awesome.
Absolutely. And we'll come up with a different, well, we can talk about something else.
Yeah,
But yeah, I would love to have you back, and I
yeah, definitely.
appreciate your time.
Oh no, no
And
problem. I
yeah,
appreciate you because behind the scenes trying to get this. I told you, just trying to figure it out. And I apologize to keep moving things around. Like we said, life
okay.
life sometimes be lifing. So
Life be life.
life be lifing sometimes. But I'm
But
great.
we made it happen.
Yeah,
We
it's a
made
great
it happen.
yeah, definitely great opportunity. I enjoyed myself. Thank you for choosing me because you could choose anyone in the
Yeah,
world. But you
absolutely.
reach out, and I appreciate it. And like you
Yeah.
said, your goal for this for your courageous conversations is amazing. Because like we talked to, is just kind of like a lot of people give surface level, and I think with this conversation, you made me think. Now I got some homework to do. Got some homework to do. Start thinking and planning, and when I go back and rewatch this, so definitely
Yeah.
kudos to you. I appreciate you
Thank
for
you.
for
Thank you very
inviting me
much.
onto your platform. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure having you. So thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for being a role model for so many children in our city. Thank you for being a great representation of a Black man.
Thank you.
So thank you.
I appreciate it.
Alrighty.
All right.